How's it going? So today we're doing a range test on the Wallke H9 dual motor e-bike. So we got a 100% charge here. You can see this is a 48 volt 60 amp hour battery we're running. I do all my range videos in full power mode. In this case it's dual motor mode, full power on level 5. So this will be the very least amount of range you can expect out of this thing. I weigh 275 pounds, so this is actually So it is a worst case scenario for most people. Most people are going to get a lot more range than I do. A couple things to think about here. When you're riding the bike at top speed, it takes a lot more energy than riding at a lower speed. For example, if you're in full power mode and you're riding at 15 miles an hour, it's a lot different than riding at 30 miles an hour, and it's not double. So the faster you go, the amount of energy it takes to run the bike increases on an exponential curve, not linear. What I've noticed is that whatever I get in this worst case scenario mode, like full power mode, like a good rule of thumb is you could probably end up getting double that range in a lower power mode. So the actual range of the bike is probably about double what it is when you're doing this full power, full top speed sort of testing. Speaking of top speed, let's see what we can get up to. Oh, by the way, I'm going to keep track of my mileage and top speed and all that kind of stuff with this GPS app here. Didn't have enough space to get up to top speed back there. Let's see if we can do it here. So I did a full review and test in my previous video of this bike, so I'll put the link in the description for that if you haven't already seen it. In that video I got up to 34 miles an hour, but I was on a pretty long stretch of road. Looks like it's chilling at 31 right now. Yeah, I just had enough room to get to 32 miles an hour. So some of the things that affect top speed on a bike is voltage, one, the wheel size. So the bigger the wheel, the more speed you can get out of your voltage, because every rotation, for instance, with the hub motor here, every rotation of the hub motor, because the wheel size is bigger, it actually amounts to more distance traveled per rotation, and it ends up being a higher top speed. So if you have a 52 volt bike and you're running 26-inch tires, you're going to have a higher top speed than if you're running 20-inch wheels, not tires, wheels. Also, if you're running a 60 volt, you're going to have a higher top speed than a 52 volt, and so on. So real quick, if you didn't see my last video, let's just go over the specs a little bit. So like I mentioned, it's a 48 volt bike. It has a 48 volt 60 amp hour massive battery back there. It has dual motors. The front motor is a 750 watt motor, and it's run by an 18 amp controller. The rear motor is 1000 watts, and it's run by a 22 amp controller. 20-inch wheels, 4-inch fat tires with knobby-like tread. It's pretty good on the road and the dirt. It's got 7 speeds, Shimano derailleur with this Shimano shifter here. It's got a derailleur guard in case you fall or something like that. You got protection. It actually has really good stopping power with the 4-piston hydraulic disc brakes. It's got full suspension. It's adjustable in the front. You can lock it out or just kind of choose what level of stiffness you want. It's also got dual coil shocks in the rear, non-adjustable, but for me it's perfect. They work out really well. Feel good off-road. So one place where this bike suffers a little for me at my weight is torque. It's not the torquiest bike, but I think it was designed, to be more of a long distance bike, to be more practical and have a lot of range for people who need it for commuting or door dashing or whatever. It's a very practical workhorse type of bike. Still a lot of fun. You're gonna have fun. That's the thing about e-bikes. It's like if you don't have an e-bike, whatever e-bike you have is better than having none, and they're all going to be a blast, right? A lot of people get so fixated on, I need to have a 60 volt, I need to go, 60 miles an hour, I need to have this and that in order to have fun. No, you really don't need any of that. And so that was a decent incline back there, and it took it no problem. When I did my hill climbing test, it was like on a really steep hill. But that was a hill, like a normal hill you would encounter. It just went up at no problem. So it's not like you're going to get stuck and have to walk the bike up the hill or anything like that. You're going to be fine. It's just not as torquey as some other bikes I've ridden because they have more amps. That's the other thing about bikes, if you're interested, is like when you're shopping around for a bike, try to find out how many amps the controllers are, right? So the higher the ampage, the more torque you're going to have, the more acceleration you're going to have off the line, and then the higher the voltage, the higher top speed you're going to have, also with the wheels too. So if you have, for example, a bike with 225 amp controllers, it's going to feel more torquey on a bike with 20-inch wheels, but it'll have a lower top speed. It'll feel less torquey on a bike with 26-inch wheels, but it'll have a higher top speed. So wheel size, voltage, and ampage, the balance of those things is what creates sort of your torque and your and your top speed and stuff like that. So those are all things to consider when you're shopping around for an e-bike. I really like how it has a percentage sign too, because a lot of bikes I've been reviewing lately, they don't have percentage signs. They just have those stupid bars. I hate those things. One thing I did notice, if you did watch my last video, was that I had 25 miles on it, and then it showed 65% battery left. But after the video, I'd been riding it around and stuff like that before I charged it again. What I noticed was some pretty deep voltage sag. So like it was 65%, but then when I was riding it, it dropped down to like 50%. So yeah, I'm not sure exactly what the range I'm going to get on this one. So just like in my experience doing range tests on these bikes so far, my prediction is I'm going to get right around 50 miles out of this thing in full power mode, dual motor. I am riding slower in a park right here, but the vast majority of the ride, I'm not going to film it because it's going to be boring me on the road somewhere. But it's like at least 80% of the ride is going to be on the streets going max speed. I'm not sure if you guys hear that rattling coming out of the front. I thought it was the motor at first, but it's actually I don't have that front fender tightened all the way up, and so it's kind of rattling and making this humming sound when I accelerate. So I'm going to break this video up probably into 2 days. I have to upload it tomorrow, so it's going to be 2 days. Today's Friday. I'm just on my lunch break right now, so I don't have a whole ton of time to ride. I just wanted to get out and get some mileage in before tomorrow morning, so I'm not having to ride 50 miles in one go, or 60 miles, whatever it turns out to be. All right, guys, if you're still here, that means you enjoyed my videos enough to watch it to this point, so please consider hitting that subscribe button. It's my goal right now to make it to 10,000 subscribers. I just hit 2,500, so I'm a quarter of the way there. You could help me out with that by just tapping that button. Please like too and watch to the end, comment, and all that kind of stuff. One thing I'm noticing too, I didn't get really a chance to test, was the how well this bike maneuvers around corners and stuff like that with this longer wheelbase, and I actually think it handles actually pretty good. So it takes the corners really well. You lean right in. Actually feels very stable because of the longer wheelbase, but it doesn't really affect like how nimble the bike is that I can notice. Oh, and just since I've got some pretty cool news, if you've been a follower, if you've been a subscriber of mine for a while, you've probably heard me talk about this a lot over the last year or so. But I had a bike built custom, pretty much from the ground up by a manufacturer in China. They're the ones who make the aerial rider bikes, so they're used to making for the American market. Really high quality bike, good components like Samsung battery cells and stuff like that. Put a lot of effort and time in thinking about this bike, so it's finally done. The prototype is finally complete after a year, and it's being shipped to me as we speak. Here's a little picture of it. I asked for no stickers, so all those stickers are coming off, and it won't be sold with those stickers. Those will be sold without them. So it's just going to be called the FewMoto bike. We'll get into all the details when I actually receive it and do the videos for it. If you're interested in this bike or, other bikes, I've got this and a few other bikes for sale on my channel, FewMoto.com, link in the description. Comes with all the same warranties and all the same shipping times as if you buy it somewhere else. It's exactly the same as like buying it on Amazon or their own website. Same price. Shipping is always included in my prices. And unless you live in Texas, there's no sales tax right now. This bike's $19.99 on there. If you do want to purchase the bike with the extra battery, to be honest with you, it's probably not a good idea to buy this bike on my website right now because they have a promotion. I'll put 2 links in there. I'll put the link for the Wallke website too, because right now they have a promotion where you can get the second 22 amp hour battery to make this thing an 82 amp hour battery for free, but it's for pre-order. You won't receive it till for a few months. I can't remember exactly when, but I'll put that link in here. So if you want the 22 amp hour battery, it's like a $600 or $700 option. Obviously, don't buy this bike off me. Go buy it from them. But if you weren't interested in that, you want to support my channel, then buy it from me. So I'm at 5.84 miles, 5.85, and I'm still showing 100%. So this might take a lot longer than I was anticipating. If this thing is accurate, a lot of times they're not accurate. So we'll see. All right, lunch break's almost over. So I did 10.81 miles, and we're at exactly 90%. If that's accurate, this is going to be a long, long ride. So cut back in later. So I'm about 6 miles in, 6.34 miles into day 2 here, down to 68%. So the battery level is going down a lot faster now than it was originally. One thing I like about this bike too is I like how the handlebars are adjustable up and down, so it makes standing up really comfortable. So in case your butt starts hurting on a long ride or something like that, it's really comfortable just stand up for a while. This whole facility right here, it's like humongous. I don't know, probably maybe 1,000 acres or more, I don't know. But it's all NASA. That's where all the astronauts come to train. It's pretty cool. You can take a tour of their training facilities and stuff and see where the engineers build little robots and whatnot. And it's also a wildlife reserve, the entire campus. So you see like just tons of deer everywhere, the alligators, I mean everything. Everything that's native to the area they have in there. Alright guys, we just hit 20 miles total in, and we're at 61% with the voltage sack from having full throttle going, but so far it's looking like 50 miles was probably pretty accurate, but we'll see. I'm heading over to another one of my park areas. If you watched my range videos before, you'll recognize it, but I'll check in when I get there. Alright, so I'm at 25 miles into the trip now, and I'm at 52%, so looks like we're heading right towards that 50-mile mark. Having some issues with this battery, though. It keeps coming dislodged from the rail. I'll show you when I get back home, but it keeps happening. So every time I go over like a bump or something like that, there's this piece where the rail sits into a little slot, and then it just kind of bounces, come dislodged from that slot, and then the battery just starts bouncing around all over the place, pretty rough. When I go home, see if I can't tighten it up, I'll show you what I'm talking about. But 50 miles for me at 275 pounds, going full power mode, pretty much full throttle almost the entire time, probably 80% of the time, and that's actually really good. So like I said, as a rule of thumb, you could probably get double the range, double of what you can get full power mode, full throttle on a bike if you wanted to. So you put this like in pedal mode, assist mode 2, and you pedal, you're never gonna run out of battery. The one thing you will never have with this bike is range anxiety, that's for sure. On any other bike, I hit around 25 miles, I want to be close to home because I start getting worried about running out of battery. This, I could just do the entire trip I just did all over again and still be fine. Another thing I've noticed is, so now we're down to 43%, we're coming up on 30 miles here pretty soon. There hasn't been much of a top speed dip. You know, I've been running right around 30 miles an hour, so right now it's at 29, but it'll pick up because I'm going slightly uphill. But yeah, no top speed drop off yet at 43%, so that's good. Alright, so this is what I'm talking about right here, how the battery just kind of comes out and doesn't sit down into the battery pan here. Watch, I'll take it out and you'll see what I'm talking about here. You see there's this rail here, and it's supposed to sit down into this slot right here, and it comes loose. There's just these screws holding it on. You can see they get all scraped up. So it's like I put it back in there more than once, and it keeps coming out, and I can't get these screws tight enough to keep it in. So this system, it just isn't adequate for the size of battery, you know. So it's not even that big of bumps that are knocking it loose. It's actually just regular road bumps. And then it just rattles around back here pretty hardcore. So I'm worried about, you know, something going on with the battery jerking around like that. So let me get this fixed. So we're pretty much exactly 32 miles. This is saying 53%, but it was down to 40% before I turned it off. I don't think it's 53%. So I'm thinking realistically it's going to get about 50 miles with me on it, 275 pounds in full power, full throttle mode. I'm actually going to cut the video there because I got to fix this. I still got to edit this and get this up. If you want this bike, I'm actually not going to have it on my store, but I'll put a link to the Wallke website where they have a deal going on where you can get the 22 amp hour battery for free when you buy it. So that'll be on there. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.